Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, my sister is just spoiled rotten. Entitled Woman Steals Halloween Costumes from Orphan Children. Update: Woman steals Halloween costumes from underprivileged children. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My sister is just spoiled rotten. Well, whenever I think she can't surprise me anymore, she proves me wrong. My sister, 29, has been spoiled by our grandparents, and even now it's still affecting her relationship with the rest of our family. She's done many questionable things over the years, and while this is just a small thing, it still infuriates me. Last week she was meeting with our father and complained that her basement is super messy and she has no idea how to clean out all the junk. Since Dad is a saint, he of course offered to help clean it out and get rid of all the trash in there, which costs money. Guess that's why Sister and Bil didn't do it. Dad spent 4 days on cleaning and throwing things put. 4 days. They live in an old apartment building and their basement isn't even that huge. Apparently it was everything from wood and metal, from old furniture and boxes to clothes and actual trash bags. Among the things was also the first bicycle my dad gifted my nephew. He has been gifting him 3 bicycles in total now. Kids grow crazy fast, huh? So he asked them what to do with it and they said he can take it and do whatever. The bicycle was the only non-trash and Dad managed to clean it up nicely and sell it for €50. Yesterday he got a call though. My sister said it was an emergency and they were all out of money for this month, on the 11th, after being paid on the 1st. I call BS, but oh, no one ever asks me. She goes on to mention that they let him take the bicycle and how that must have made him some money. What does Dad do? He drives over immediately and gives them the money. So he spends 4 days cleaning their trash for free, sells a bicycle he originally bought after cleaning it, and then they ask for that money. Dad isn't even well off. He and Mom barely get by themselves each month, and Sister and Bil have more money for sure. I know this is not super interesting, but dealing with this kind of BS regularly is just so frustrating. By now I wish them nothing good. ETA. For anyone wondering what this got to do with me personally, were people saying, oh, but you can just keep away, don't get involved anymore. I know, but it isn't so simple. I see my parents every day. I work with them, see them at meal times. So whenever there is trouble because of my sister, I know it because they will fight about it. Have you ever disliked, maybe hated, someone so much just the mention of their names makes you mad? That's how I feel about my sister. She bullied and mistreated me for years as well, and I am so glad my parents realized it early on and stopped it as best as they could. But still, even therapy has not helped me get rid of these feelings. And until your parents set boundaries, which they won't, nothing will change. She doesn't try the sob stories on you, does she? She's probably also one that throws a tantrum when you call out her behavior. Mom is already LC with her because Sis used to torment her mentally. Mom got Dad to be stricter with her and Sis didn't like that at all. But yes, she always got what she wanted from our grandparents when they were alive, and if she didn't, she would pretend to have tics and whatnot to get her way. It reminds me a bit the situation in my dad's family. One of his sisters always was asking for money, new cars, and to buy an apartment for her and her family, and my grandma always paid because she was afraid of her. My grandma died and left a will, and of course she was excluded. You can't imagine how furious my dad's sister was. But also, that is karma. I really try to wish no harm to others, but some people truly deserve a bit of karma. Greed is one of the worst things. That's fantastic. She already got her inheritance while Grandma was alive. Good on your grandma. There's always a turd like them in every family. I've got a few, and for a while I was one of them. Nothing will ever change until they grow the hell up. You can't stop people from letting themselves be used. You are not participating, so yes, you can be unhappy with the way your father is being treated, but at the end of the day, he can say no, he is a grown man. Focus on your life and don't offer advice or criticism unless it directly involves you. Entitled Woman Steals Halloween Customs from Orphan Children. Important information: I'm part of a sewing circle that makes clothes and blankets for the local home for children. The homes gives us a list of what they need and we make it. My husband and I also volunteer at one of the homes. This year my husbands and I agreed to take some of the children trick or treating this year, and my sewing circle all agreed to make Halloween customs for them, 12 in total. I get a call from one of the ladies from the sewing circle asking if she could bring someone from her church who expressed interest in learning how to sew to our next meeting. The circle is always hosted at my place as I have more room, to which I of course said yes, more the merrier, right? Our next meetup is the Friday before Halloween, and the girls and I were just putting the finishing touches on the customs, so plenty of time helped this woman learn the basics of sewing. So Friday comes and girls come over, and this so-called Christian woman comes too. It all started out okay, we all show where we are on our projects and the customs look so good, then we start showing this woman how to use her sewing machine and even helped her start her own project, a skirt. We stop for coffee. This woman makes a big scene about how she totally forgot she had to be somewhere and she had to leave right away, and she runs out. We didn't think much of it until we went back into my sewing room and 3 of the customs were missing. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, so I checked my camera and there she was walking out with the customs. We all started to call and text until she blocks us. So the girls and I worked all Friday, Saturday and Sunday rushing to make this 3 customs, and no, she didn't go to church that Sunday. I think if Gracie saw her she would have given her a fat lip. Edit: I'm going to report her to the police and the church. My cop friends say as the victim, even if it only goes to a warning, I can insist in something called a formal warning, which will help them if she does something similar in the future, which if we're willing to steal from underprivileged children, then you most likely do it again. You and your circle need to tell everyone you can think of, including her preacher if she has one. It won't undo what she did, but may stop her doing similar to someone else. I'm sure this isn't her first theft, she planned this. Please no one try to make excuses for this thief. There is no excuse, not poor disabled kids, nothing. This circle is so kind and giving, they would have pitched in if asked for help. I hope you expose her at church, tell as many people as you can. But especially talk to her pastor/bishop, whatever she needs someone to address this crazy behavior. And thanks for making a children's holiday special for children. Takes an incredibly sweet and selfless person to do that. This would be a good human interest story for the local news. It has a dual purpose: it would warn her next victims, plus it could gain you more volunteers for next year. I'd be calling the police and also posting the video for all to see. Oh, I'd be calling the police and reporting her for theft and pressing charges who steals from kids, but especially orphan kids. Update: woman steals Halloween costumes from underprivileged children. Well, we did go to the police and got her charged. She was forced to give the costumes back, but her and her sex trophies destroyed them. They were all torn, stained, and I 100% believe that she took a pair of scissors to them, so we can even save it for next year. She was, however, actually arrested, so she has to go to court, but the Crown will probably just give her a fine and or give her community service. I go to a different church than Gracie and the women, so the next part is what Gracie told me. The woman's husband is pissed. He is a really big presence of the church, so Gracie's smear campaign against his wife have got the congregation talking, and the group of church moms she was a part of have kicked her out. She hasn't gone to church since she stole the costumes, and Gracie doesn't think she will anytime soon. The pastor tried reaching out to her, but she ignoring all his calls and emails. To make matters worse, she and her husband are not financially struggling or anything like that. She could have easily afforded to buy her family costumes, she just forgot about Halloween and didn't want her kids to have the ugly leftovers, and she knew we were making the costumes because Gracie had asked Song Ration if they could donate some money or material to us, and her reasoning for stealing from this children was those kids are used to disappointment and her kids weren't. And she doesn't understand why we're making a big deal out of it because we were able to make the kids more costumes. That it. Her reasoning for stealing from this children was those kids are used to disappointment and her kids weren't. I think she went to church for the wrong reasons. A perfect example of false piety. My teacher explained it like this: many people go to church and think about relaxing, while others relax and think about G*D. Huge difference between religious and a person of faith. I hope karma gets her back for that big time. What an awful thing to do, and the judge had better make it a huge fine. And make her do community service as long as possible. If court's not going, make her serve prison time for theft, because she needs to punished for what she did and her overly entitlement for doing so. Somehow, I do not think you have heard the end of this. I also think you should prepare a statement and get it to the Crown's representative, to be filed into the case. It will be seen and considered as evidence. Pictures of the returned costumes, as well. Special level of hell for folks like her. I simply cannot process this type of behavior. Pictures and ask Procurator Fiscal if they want the costumes as evidence. I might add the costumes ending up ripped and muddy. I suspect was her being vindictive and not her kids. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.